Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome aboard for Came from the Workbench, Volume 65, Episode 3. Episode 3 is the one in which we do the things. We head out to the rocks and we find out if the collection of parts that we put together works. As I mentioned in the last, I fully recognize that there are folks that are not interested in how the sausage is made. That's absolutely fine. It was something of a struggle to get here. We had a proper link Olympics on this gentleman to get the links right. I got the body mount holes 5 millimeters off, so I ended up having to move all the body mounts to get the body to move back. Forward. Yes, had to move the body forward. Fitting the actual componentry, the stuff that I thought was going to be difficult, was not. This is a skid for a Jolly Green, which, try to tell me it doesn't line up like perfectly. Zoku ZRD chassis for VRD. All of the plastics down the middle from a VRD, but Mias nylon isokinetic straights. I'm pretty excited about these. Mounted servo and axle, and here's why I'm pretty excited about the isokinetic straights. Good God! That's the road grader level of steering that we're accustomed to seeing on a caster flipped element axle. So I have hopes up high for these. Stealth X, 18% fed to the rear. Furatech Dynamic 380 2000 kV, which has us running 48 pitch, 15 tooth pinion, 87 tooth spur, which means to the front axle we should be seeing around 57 to 1, and then the rear will be obviously 18% less than that, give or take. We made a lot of guesses. We guessed on link mounting position. We guessed on springing. I do think that the rear is going to be too soft. Trial vintage 1.9s with J-Concept's Class 1 Bossman on the stock foams. Intended to secure 120 amp piped into that motor. Element factory team shocks. Damping feels just about right. Feels a little undersprung in the back, as I halfway mentioned. The body is a Proline 1967 F100, which I believe they intend for their twin I-beam for use on pre-runners, which is why I had never seen this body prior to a couple of weeks ago, and it has rapidly become one of my favorites. I believe that the pumpkin angles are pretty good. There's a good amount of caster in these axles, because even with proper drive shaft angles, proper pinion angles, we've got good caster, particularly in the front. The Mias isokinetic nylon straights also come with weights in the front. More value, I guess. Cannot fit a gear cover under any circumstances. The output shaft on the Dynamic is very long. The depth of the pocket on the gear cover is about that deep, and that thing's way out there. Also fitted with a slipper, because I would rather, if I have the option to mount a slipper, I'm going to mount a slipper. We've gone double battery straps. The battery straps on the ZRD sliders, they go into slots built into the sliders. We got voodoo slots on straps on both sides. One strapping down all the wires in the speed control, one's holding down the battery. It's nice, it's clean. Of course, as one would guess, Radiolink RC4. This guy doesn't have an official name yet because he hasn't shown us his abilities and or temperaments. I keep thinking of this body as a Ranger. Like, to me, it hollers Ford Ranger, but I don't know, I don't know if they were calling the F100 the Ranger at that time. Class 1.5, I would like to say that's obvious, but Class 1.5 is an in the Canyon thing, which is tires of 4.19 or smaller. We'll allow like a 425, 420. If the manufacturer says that, odds are it's not going to be. I would say the extreme top end of a tire that I would accept on a CC 1.5 build would be like an Axial 1.9 Ripsaw. They claim 4.35 on the sidewall of that. That tire is barely Class 1 tall, regardless of the foam that's fitted into it. So 4.19 or smaller, full fenders. I want as much tire coverage as possible. I need body clips. We can't do his neat parlor trick with the pre-runner body without body clips installed. This is a we've used Trail Runner, J-Concepts K10 with Sorka's new rules, and we absolutely go to whatever lengths we require necessary to ignore all Sorka rules. Sorka has now basically said that Class 2 is basically Class 3 with smaller tires. You can run the most aggressive stuff. Everybody's just going to be running cabs. If you're allowed to run a cab only in Class 2, why wouldn't you? So, in a hopes to make a small effort to keep the market from just stopping production of full bodies, Crawler Canyon Class 1.5 is full body, and his parlor trick is, yeah, buddy, we can go full mini truck and get it all the way down there. This is a great looking body. I think we're undersprung. The body, these particular posts, we've got axial posts in the front and Vanquish posts in the rear. The body obviously needs its 1 hour paint job, and I like to use sticky back hobby foam on the inside to keep the bodies from rattling around. It needs all that, but approach should be genuinely pretty good. For a Class 1 tire, that's all right. Departure is gonna be maybe an issue. We've got a solid 50 millimeters from the back of the tire to the back of the bed. Sometimes you get a big overhang. It looks good. And I mean, as you can tell, if you look where the front bumper is, zoop, and then you look where the back bumper is. In our dreams, the back of the body is right here. We don't have this. So I will probably have to end up cutting this back. That's not great. It's okay, but it's not great. I'm mostly worried about these fish hooks right here. We'll see. Whereas in terms of approach, we can get well in there. Even compressed. Yeah. It's past 45 degrees both ways. It's not like it's terrible. I do think, due to the amount of rear shock laydown, that we're probably a little bit undersprung. These are Deluxe Softs, 0.8 pound. The front feels genuinely perfect. And one little further last clarification on Crawler Canyon Class 1.5. Basically, whatever's under the Lexan is pretty much legal. I like to keep the trucks 2 channels, but I don't actively disallow dig. It's fine. I think that the joy of this was an effort to make myself enjoy small tires and full bodies. It's very easy to just start throwing big, wide, sticky rubber and a cab at absolutely everything. And there are bodies out there that, like, I don't want to be constrained by the available hard bodies into having to go through some absolutely absurd gymnastics routine to get my tires under the body. This body's 9 inches wide. I think it's actually over 9 inches wide. And that is just a stock axle. I didn't have to mess with hubs, nothing. Didn't have to mess with hexes. It just fits. This appeals to me. Hopefully, it performs at a level which will make it... and then sometime in the near to hopefully not too distant future, we will get the current Canyon members of the 1.5 class out there to see, because every one of them is radically different. We will get them out there to compete against each other, because I think what inevitably happens in Class 1, because of the number of restrictions placed upon it, is all of the builds start tapering to a point, and you're basically building that over and over again. You're like chasing points and trying to keep a level of performance. I would like to see performance, and I have no problems with Lexan. So, the rocks will tell us for sure. I'm cautiously optimistic about it because the body is so low. The body is that line right there is where the slider is. So the body really, it does indeed hang down below the link, and you generally don't want that. Do I want to raise the body up? No. I love how this looks. We have another gentleman named Dusty that has the same kind of slammed out look to him, and it doesn't seem to hold him back. So, come on out to the rocks with me. This guy, as of yet unnamed, Voodoo Ranger, like the beer, is what keeps popping in my head because he's got the 2 voodoo straps, and I keep thinking this is a ranger. But he will come into his name, hopefully. So, you, him, me, to the rocks. I have too much drive back information. First note, 70-21-70. We're getting like mornings that would, yes, sure. It's before 8 o'clock in the morning. But it is also around 70 degrees, which for us feels great. Daytime high, still like 100, 102. But we're getting almost cooler nights. So that's nice. It feels reasonable out here. 70, 21, 70. On the drive back, the steering angle is so fast that it's almost kind of scary. Like he gets real snaky. Tracked really straight. The body is even louder than I could have anticipated. It just bounces around. And the rear is at least 1 rate too soft. I could probably bodge it by just moving the shock down a hole, giving it a little hijacker status, and raising the rear end up. But we're gonna do it with spring. I want it to sit where it sits now, but I would like the rear rate just a little bit firmer. So all in all, doesn't appear to pull. And the gearing, the drive back, I like to institute cruise control on the drive back. 62% throttle was just right there at that like high walking pace. Just about perfect. So the 1587 might have been a good pick. And that 2000, with all that gear reduction, that 2000 really spools up. So you can, it gets up real quick, but at the same time, you can do this. So best of both worlds, maybe? Ooh. I watched the passenger rear tuck up all the way in and do like a skateboarding stall move on the inside of the body, and we just kind of shot sideways. So yeah, the rear is indeed over collapsing, but look at the steer angle. 90s are the go. The 90 is the correct shock for this. It sits real low. 5.4 pounds. Fully RTR. So even after we've applied paint and all the usual things, we should be right around 5.5 pounds. I would like to dig around. That is a 15-tooth axial. I think that's a 15-tooth axial pinion. I don't really like the axial pinions. The way they do their teeth, I'm not a machinist. I don't know what they call it. Robinson gears are made better. These get like a little rhythmic zzz, 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 zzz. And it's because the way they cut the teeth. That steering angle, though. Oh, nice. I heard a big Lexan pop. We're kind of hung on the body right here. Okay, back it down. I need to stay right about there. Don't fall away. Yeah, I was concerned. I was like, maybe the body is hanging a little too low. And there are moments where we're just getting that body hung in. I thought the rear, I thought that departure was going to be the problem. It's not really the departure, it's the middle. It's the rockers hanging below the sliders is the biggest issue that I am noticing. And the rear is, I would say one rate. Honestly, now I'm reconsidering. Is it one rate or is it two rates? Should I go up one rate? This is odd. We don't, like our sprung to unsprung. I guess it's just that we have more sprung weight. More sprung weight than it would appear. Because I feel like we could get away with one rate in the front and two rates in the rear. Yeah, that steering does definitely not allow any wandering. And the tires tuck up in the body pretty nicely. Right there. Oh, you could see the body just pop, pop, pop. I don't want to cut the rockers up. We might just like trim the edges of the fenders so they don't have quite as much of a point to them. Yeah, that turning circle is real sharp. I have also not felt any manner of mechanical from the axle or the chassis. It's only the body. And it's kind of only the body in the middle and right where the body flares out in front of the rear wheel arch. Stability is high, which is why I would not want to spring up too much. I'm just going to stay in right here, see if we can. Yeah, it did not feel like it was going to go away. We have mostly ZRD geometry. It's obviously not in a VRD skid, VFD skid. Both. It's neither of those things. Ooh. The belly doesn't even act long. It's nice and slidey in the middle because that belly is super flat. And the ability to just tuck that tire up in there, it's nice. It's nice. I had anticipation of far more work that need to be done. I guess because basically what I'm building is, I don't know, what do you want to call it? This is a class 2 on tiny tires is what it is. To me, a 4.19 is a tiny tire. So this is all the stuff of a C2 rig on a small tire. That's basically what CC 1.5 is. But we got that full body, and the full body is the thing that I love about it the most. How low can I get it? How little can I cut off of it? This guy is he the best that we've built so far? I don't know. I would definitely have to see them in a semi-competitive environment to make that judgment. It does feel good. Let's see. Do we drag it all? Well, a tiny little bit. I don't want to cut it. These shadows are quite harsh at this hour. Let's see. Get the edges of frame. Oh, it's real small. It's real small in the turning circle. Boss man have got some pull to him. Hey! I mean, he might be the leader in Class 1.5 pirate ship noises at this point. He is really clanking and banging around. But we just slithered right up there, even with how low he's sitting. That is, of course, the tightrope that we're walking. Is you want to get the body mechanically out of trouble. We want to keep it clear. But I also don't want to spring it up to the point that now we're bobbleheading around. He's delightfully quiet as well. Oh yeah, that steer angle is so good. It's a lot. It's certainly past F10s because no one has yet made a double cardan for F10 axle. You can kind of bodge an F10 straight if you kind of hybridize it with 10 Pro parts, but then you're going to be sticking to that axle for really no reason. And the F10 straight is one of my favorite axles. This axle is real good. Really, really good. It's got that Diamond Pro look. Like, this guy drives like he's on a much taller tire. It really makes you feel like you're on a faster servo. I wanted to get that push away. I think our tailgate saved us there. Yeah, Boss Man have got some... That's rear pumpkin. Give it a little too many beans. It's... I think we can do it. Oh. It's not a ghost ride if you're not upside down at some point. I am not mad at it. He's a loud one, and we're gonna have to see how much will foam and paint deaden that down. Clank. And as I said, that 2000, it's not a rocket. So that 2000 in that like high 50s, low 60s overall reduction. Now, if you tried this same configuration but with a Class 2 tire on it, too fast. It's going to be too fast. Because I want to say, if memory serves, a 465 compared to a 419 makes you about 15% faster. And I think that that would be too big of a hit to the gear reduction. So if you're looking at these Mias isokinetic nylon straights, which is a mouthful, even with a Stealth X throwing its reduction at it, which 1587, I want to say it's like 11, it's 11 or 12 to 1 out of the gearbox. If you're going to do this on a Class 2, you're going to want even more reduction. So probably all the way down to like maybe a 12-tooth pinion. Now that is based on running 2000 kV in 3S, which is cautiously recommended. For while I enjoy buying parts and components as much as anyone, maybe more, figuring out what gear reduction you need, which will in turn inform you as to what motor you're going to need, what kV range you want to sit in, before you have any parts in your hand, is easy. It's simple arithmetic. You know that on a straight axle you're going to be about 3.75 to 1, so you got that amount of reduction there. You can easily determine what gearbox you're going to put in there. Many will list it. Others, it's pretty safe to just go off of 2.6. If it's a 3 gear, you can go off of 2.6. And then you take your spur to pinion ratio, like what is acceptable, what do you have on hand? You multiply all those numbers together, you find out another number. 40 to 1, 50 to 1, 60 to 1, 70 to 1, anywhere in between. And then that will tell you what KV you need. So oh, look at it. No lift. The no lift. You gonna lift on me? No. I don't even think that tire got up. So we've got 3 LCG chassis of very different geometries on our 3 instances of class 1.5. Just augured that tail end in. I love that tire tucked up in the back. We've got a comp fox, not to be confused with a ground fox. We've got a comp fox, which was Associated/Elements take on the Artful Dodgers ground fox. We've got a Mias Gold Rush, and now we have, we'll just call it Zoku ZRD, because the ZRD Geo is different enough from a VRD. And I don't know. It could be as simple. How low can we get? I don't even think that driver rear got in the air. It's real sticky down on those real soft ones. The geometry is really working here. And because the tires can oh, that was perfect. Let me do it again. Look at that front tire. Just franched. And then we come through and watch. Frontal drop out. And then here comes the rear. I don't think this is an unpopular opinion. If you can get full suspension travel without impediment on a full body, it's just sexier. Oh. I got a pan here. You're gonna see camera 2. There's camera 2. And spirit of the forest. Spirit of the forest. There goes the spirit of the forest. Spirit of the forest has real long legs. Spirit of the forest has the bushiest tail. Spirit of the forest is the cat that I have seen that looks the most like a Pokemon to me. Spirit of the forest looks like a Pokemon. Still have no idea who it belongs to. My youngest will try to give it food sometimes, and it gets real snooty, and it goes, I don't want that. And it just lays on the ground, and it looks majestic. It puts its lanky arms out, and it flops its giant Pokemon tail around. I wish that Spirit of the Forest was a little more... Well, it's friendly. My kid has pet it. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Back on topic. Nothing here is arguing with any of the other component parts. Everything is working. We've got ourselves a little concert. The course is extremely overdue for maintenance. Something to do with 104 degree high temperature basically every day. Oh. So all of the good things of the Boss Man, they stay in the Class 1 version. We have, this is another time, we've seen more than one instance where while the Class 2 version of a J-Concepts tire is very good, the Class 1 is just, you take away that little bit of sidewall, you're eliminating a little bit of rotating mass. Is the fat waste gonna get here? I heard the slipper going like, you're hanging me up. You know, you anticipate it getting stuck so much more. We've got a lot of Lexan noise because that body is, of the Class 1.5s, this is the biggest one. That steer angle though. Ooh, full Lexan in. Oh, everything just goes though. Chassis real good, axles real good. Here's the beauty of it. Oh, that steer angle is drug-like. We're way up on the side. Oh, nice. Thank you, sir. Had to steer. I got too far. I have cut that body down zero. Well, that's not entirely true. I had to take it to the spindle sander and really, the fenders, you can see it on the front fender. The front fender is just perfectly square at the top. And that's fine because there's more flare in the front than there is in the rear. So we can tuck that tire up into that square flare. In the rear, however, there's slightly less flare. It was a little narrower in the rear. So in order to get the tire to French up there real nice under compression, I took it to the spindle sander and just gave it a nice, perfectly round arch to try to match the tire. But in terms of rockers, front bumper, all of that, this is just that body. It's not cut down at all. And I think most of the big pops, okay, this is the first time we've gotten the pumpkin in. Trying to get outside right there. I can't see. It looked like the front tail end passenger rocker panel looked like it was hanging a little. It really does. Like, behavior-wise, this is, by Canyon standards, a tiny tire and a big body and a straight axle. We do not have tons of ground clearance, and we've got a really wide body. It's great. Like, it feels easier to maneuver than the one that's on an Element Trail Walker, which is narrower all around than this. Not hugely narrower. I mean, we're still talking full fender stuff, but I don't think that there will be any future builds of Crawler Canyon Class 1.5 that has more tire coverage than this. These tires are all the way in. At full extension, the outsides of the tire might be, like you just watch right there. Can I get back to it? That front tire right there. That, if that's not full tire coverage, I don't know what is. This guy's real solid. I will go up a rate in the rear, but what I'll try to do is keep about the same shock angle. I don't have an existing hole because of the way we push the rear axle back to try to get a more skid forward shape out of it. We don't have an additional shock mounting hole to stand the rear shock up more vertically. I think if we could stand the rear shock up like 2 more holes, get the rear shock to about the same angle as the front, we would probably be fine on the 0.8s all around. There is a calculator on the Crawler Canyon spreadsheet that will allow me to see what effective rates are, find out what the effective rate is at that angle, because the 1.45 of a medium might be too stiff. I think we need to go up a little. 1 pound, 1.1 pound, 1.2 pound maybe. So half a rate, really. It was far closer. I had more worries about getting hung up, about not doing it. The steer angle is everything you could hope for from these Mias axles. It does drag tailgate. I would genuinely be surprised if it didn't. But it's the stuff in the middle. Somebody decided to just leave them hanging. And if your rockers hang below your sliders, it's gonna make noise. I don't want to cut him. I like how he looks too much. So, as per always, we will say the things. Questions, comments, concerns, comments section below. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Canyon. It's like, and people will ask me what's my favorite. The one I'm driving right now. That's the one that's my favorite. Whichever one I'm driving right now. And right now, this is a solid way to start a morning of a day that's going to be entirely too hot. This guy is on it, doggone it. We can probably, like, we'll get right here, and then I go full lock. That turning circle, though. Oh, man. I don't think it's 3 feet full circle on a 313 wheelbase. That road grader, that steer angle, completely unmodified axle, I might point out again. Pretty good. I'm not mad at any of it. He needs painted some shade of blue, or more than one shade, multiple shades of blue. I don't know. We'll think of something to put on there. I got halfway through the outro. Come on back and see us, and what do we have coming up next? And in between now and then, please, one and all, do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again here from the Canyon. Voodoo Ranger is what's in my head. The Voodoo Ranger. I don't know. Let me know. That's what the comments section is for. Let me know. How did he do? How did we do? Does he feel like a Voodoo Ranger to you?